Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Just a real quick one today. Just going through some of my stuff, testing this old laptop here. When I say laptop, it's actually a Sony netbook, one of the very early ones from back in the day. While everybody else was knocking these out for sort of 150, 200 quid, Sony lagged behind again, and about a year later they brought this thing out, and it wasn't very good. And it wasn't cheap either. These were around about £300 mark, if I remember rightly. Quite an unusual little device, quite plasticky, and felt like quite low quality actually for Sony. I actually hated selling these when I worked in a Sony centre back in the day. So yeah, it's got quite a few connections on it actually. It's got 3 USB ports, SD, most Sony memory stick card reader, VGA output, and it also has an Ethernet port and a Wi-Fi switch for internal Wi-Fi. Let's have a quick look at these specs. It came with Windows 7 back then, one of my favourite operating systems, which suited this quite well because the processor was quite slow. It's an Intel Atom N470 1.83 GHz with just 1 GB of RAM. Maximum this will take is 2 GB, which I quickly upgraded to. Storage space was a 250 GB SATA hard drive, 5400 RPM, so it's a mechanical drive. 10.1 inch LED backlit screen with a sort of a matte finish, which I don't like. Maximum screen resolution 1024 by 600 with this Intel Graphics Media Accelerator 3150. As mentioned before, it's got Wi-Fi, also has Bluetooth. It's got a built-in camera, just 0.3 megapixels, well that's pretty low. Stereo speakers, battery life's up to 4.5 hours, so that's pretty good. Because laptops back then were sort of about 2 hours if I remember rightly. And the weight was 1.4 kilos, so it was quite a chunky little beast. These came with 2 model numbers back in the day. The number on the top there is VPCM13M1E, and on the bottom there had a model number PCG 21313M. Never understood why Sony did that. Voltage on this thing is 19.5 volts, so it takes a standard Sony Vaio power supply, which is handy. I bought this out of curiosity years after it was released initially, and I ended up just using it as a print server at the time because it had become so slow and unusable for anything else. Anyway, I'm going to be tearing this down today to have a look inside, see what's wrong with it, because I turned it on the other day for the first time in months or years. Nothing coming up on the screen. You can see the hard drive ticking away, and like it was loading, but even pressing the caps lock button and numlock button, they weren't doing anything. And now it's absolutely dead. So I thought I'd take it apart before I get rid of it and see just what's inside one of these things. Will it even be Sony made? I'm not expecting to get this working again. It's just going to be a case of scrapping it really and removing any useful parts for other projects. Quite a few screws on the bottom of this, and I forgot actually that 2 of those screws, or maybe 3, actually to help the keyboard detach from the top so you can release the ribbon cable. I was rushing into this here because I wasn't expecting to get it working again. There you go, the keyboard just popped off. It's a very flimsy keyboard, very short cable as well, but I guess it doesn't need to be too long. And there are those mounting points. And you can see some brown scorching there from the heat from the memory there. Apart from the keyboard cable, which has already popped out, there's a little ribbon cable for the mouse and a little cable for the speakers. And just on the top there are 2 cables for the Wi-Fi card that are threaded through the plastics on the top. There's some sellotape there holding them in place. Interestingly, when I had this working, I could never get the Wi-Fi to work. I always had to put in a little Wi-Fi dongle instead. I'm not sure why that was. And here we are, finally the lid is off, and you can see some more scorching there on the right hand side from heat. And on the left there we've got a date code. I don't think it's showing up very well there on camera, but it's actually 2010. And here's the inside of the computer itself. Got a Western Digital hard drive there on the right, one of the blue ones. RAM in the middle there, 2 GB, CPU on the left. Bit of a heatsink going on there. Fan looks a bit clogged up, probably could have done with a clean. But it's not going to need that now. In the middle there you've got the Wi-Fi card, just under my thumb on the right hand side of the Bluetooth card. And you've got a little backup battery there for the BIOS. Looks like there was a spot there for an M2 slot, which has not been included on this revision. That would have been handy. So while I had this open, I thought let's have a quick poke around inside, see if we can see where the voltage is stopping. The DC input's up on the top there, but on the bottom right hand side here is the slider switch. I thought let's see if there's any voltage going through that, and there wasn't. I remembered that the DC input socket on this was a little bit flaky now and again, but the battery was still good, so it never really affected it. But I'm just going to test the voltage output of this power supply as well, just to make sure it's okay. Because these things can randomly just go sometimes. I've had it happen quite regularly actually over the years. The power supply adapter suddenly started clicking and there's no voltage output. But these things do get quite hot though. So it's always important to make sure you put the right amperage adapter on the computer you're using. Otherwise you can overdraw from it, and that's what burns them out. Off camera I did have a bit more of a route around, looking for any fuses that might have blown. But I was testing continuity of these things, they all seem to be okay. I think I found 3 in the end. So I gave up at this point. I thought, right, let's take it apart and scrap it and see what parts we can get out of it. Yeah, so at this point I decided to swap the camera around that was on the ceiling there because the other one just looked awful. I thought I'd try something different because I've got this new setup area here, a dedicated area just for doing repairs, so I don't have to keep on moving everything out of the way to film other videos. So as you can see, this looks a lot better. So yeah, I'm going to take this apart now and see what parts I can get out of it, just removing the speakers here. They're 1 watt each actually, so that's quite powerful for such small speakers. So they'll be handy for a little project. So I've got those so far. Next, take the RAM out. It's only 2 GB, but still worth keeping. Let's get this heatsink off and this fan for the CPU. I'm going to keep that as well because they can go sometimes. And again, they're useful for other projects. All the wiring here on the left hand side for the DC socket and the backlight and the screen itself. Interestingly, the CPU just had a thermal pad and not thermal paste. First time I've seen that myself. Going to keep that DC socket. It's always worth keeping those. That's the speakers out now as well. Little backup battery. Yeah, getting this motherboard out. I did it off camera the first time when I was looking underneath, testing fuses. It was all clipped in, just plastic clips. There's only 2 screws on the left hand side. And that's it. So I've got the hard drive, memory, fan there and some speakers. I also took the Wi-Fi card out off camera and also the Bluetooth card. I've got another computer actually that I can test that Wi-Fi carding, so I'm not sure if it's working. Like I mentioned before, I couldn't get it to work. And there's a battery. Before we go, let's just have a quick close-up look at the motherboard itself. As I mentioned before, as you can see on the left hand side there, you've got the CPU, and just below that you have the graphics package. Interestingly, this is actually a Sony board. It says Sony on it anyway, and it's a 6-layered board, it says there. So imagine doing repairs on this if you had any corrosion. And there's the reverse of the board, quite heavily populated. I did go over this with the multimeter looking for the fuses, and the ones that I tested just fine. So that's the end of another Vaio. It's going to be taken to e-waste now. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that with me. I guess that just about brings me to the end of this video. As always, thanks for watching, and until the next video, I'll be seeing you. And if you did enjoy watching this video, you may want to take a look at some of my other videos on similar themes. I'm always buying something on eBay, some old piece of technology, and trying to repair it. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Thanks for watching.